my God.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh?
Do you need to answer it?
Yeah, who's calling me at this time? Sheesh.
Telemarketer.
Okay, so back. Okay. So it has to be on the outside. There.
Right. Thank you. Hi. Just want to adjust the camera one more time. Okay, great. So can we just start by you telling me your name, please?
Karen Lead.
And can you spell that out for me, please?
Caronleid.
Great, thank you. So can you just give me a little bit about your background as a caregiver?
Okay, so now it's going on to 17 years. My mom, she was living in Trinidad at the time, and I just had my son, who was a newborn, and she was planning to come and help me. And so she did. She came up from Trinidad to help me. Then I noticed a few things that were very peculiar for her because she was a nurse. And then we went to the doctor and discovered that she had early onset Alzheimer's. She was 57. And then 14 months later, my father passed away. He had a massive heart attack. And then she came to live with me. So I've been in this role going on 16 years. And she's had Alzheimer's for 17, going on 17.
Okay. And so you do quite a bit of advocacy work. Can you just tell me a little bit about why you got into doing advocacy?
So when she was diagnosed, of course, I didn't know anything about Alzheimer's, so I really wasn't panicked at the diagnosis at the time until I came home and I started researching it on Google, and there was very limited resources back then, but I did scroll down and saw that there was no cure. And so not even still realizing that it was a brain basically disorder, neurological, I had to keep stumbling upon things along the way. So to assist me, I started journaling, like for cathartic purposes. And then, you know, by fluke, I'd find out another resource or more information, but you couldn't find it anywhere else. It was just sort of like by accident that I was stumbling on this information. And so that's why it took 13 years to compile this information, and I felt like there still wasn't anything even 13 years after that there was a need to actually say something or share my story so that people can become aware. And on top of that, I still find it doesn't even matter, well, I'm sure it does, but I'm still finding that there's very, very little awareness and advocacy for this disease. So that's sort of why I have a strong need to share and tell people what I'm going through. And people do want to know. There's a lot of people out there that it's affecting, but they don't know where to go. I guess same as myself. And there is still like in Canada overall, they're working on it now, but a dementia strategy. But there's no national dementia strategy where you can go to one Alzheimer's society and get the same information as another society. They're sort of disjointed. and they operate sort of in silos. So that's another reason why I feel the need to do advocacy.
I'm just going to do one quick change here to the camera. Can you, once I am ready for you, please say so.
Okay.
If you want, also, I can give you all this footage.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
For sure. Can you just tell me a little bit? So you talked there about this disjointed policy and fragmented resources. Can you just talk a little bit more about how that's impacted you as a caregiver?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure now it's different, but at the time when my mom came to live with me, and then I had to figure out how I'm going to deal with her illness and work full time, and of course, like, I have a young child, like he's a toddler, and how I'm going to rearrange my whole life. And they initially had a day program. The Alzheimer Society had a day program, or they still have it. And at the time, I had to go to work, so their program didn't start. It wasn't conducive to my work, and so I had to arrange transportation, make sure there was help to help her go on the transportation, and then the time that she came back was like 2:30. It was just very, very non-conducive to working. It wasn't like a daycare where it's before, right? You can drive, like I can drop my son off before and then pick him up at 6, but this was very structured. So because of that, as much as, yes, I get it, the day program is supposed to assist in activities to make sure that they can still do things that they're maybe accustomed to doing, but then how do you do it and work at the same time? So this is, and I go now, of course, I'm sure through, I think now it's till 6 p.m. But at the time it was very limited. So, and like Peel will not be the same as Toronto. Everyone operates, they have a lot more services because I'm sure they have a lot more funding in Toronto because it's larger, but Peel doesn't have a lot of resources. At least that was my what's that word now? Yeah, sorry, experience with them. And good prime example is every year they have Walk for Memories in Toronto, and I know every time when it is, when it's coming up, someone calls me. I couldn't tell you when the one for Peel is. So they're all operating on different things. Sorry. Do you want to pause it?
Yeah.
Yeah.